Many people were waiting for this lesson, and finally today we arrived to this lesson. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you Louis Feuillard's Studies of the Young Cellist number 39, which is a study for the left hand in the 6th position. I know that many of my followers and subscribers are adult beginners or students. Some of you are advanced. So this study over here might be a good one to develop 6th position on your cello and shiftings. But it might be possible that for some of you this study can be a little bit harder. I don't know, I would say try it, because if we never try, we'll never know. Before we proceed with this lesson, if you are new here on this channel, let me introduce myself. I'm Ilia Laporev, cellist, obviously, as you can see. I produce cello technique tutorials, I cover different methods, I talk on different cello topics, and so on. If this is what you're looking for, then consider to subscribe. And also, I want to greet and give a shout out to a new member of my family, which is Natalia from Sweden, who became my new Patreon supporter. Natalia, thank you so much for your support and your trust in me. Welcome. And you also can become my Patreon supporter. You can find the link in the video description below. There are some offers that might be very interesting for you if you want to take your cello playing and studies to the next level. Again, link in the video description below. And anyway, with that said, well, I'm ready to play this exercise. Are you too? At least this study is very beautiful, but let's be honest, not all the Feuillard studies are exciting, right? And I have to be honest, and maybe for my part that's not really pedagogical, but sometimes this can get really boring. But not in today's case. Well, then let's not wait and let's go immediately into the important things here for this study. And we will start with the right hand, with this guy over here. And what do you think I will say to you right now? You might heard that dozens of times. Bow distribution, my friends. Please, bow distribution here in this exercise is crucial. We all know that bow distribution in general is crucial in theory, but when we put it into practice, then things get messed up and we forget things and we don't have a nice bow distribution. So first step, and my suggestion here is to practice bow distribution. We do it the simple way, the old school way, open strings. So like this, you can feel the pace of the bow, the speed in other words, and you can control and observe things. I like to practice this by parts. So which means I divide each measure in half. Let me show you what I mean. Good, so what I'm going to show you now on an open string, and then afterwards I will play the actual notes from the exercise. I will show you now and I will count until 6, but I will stop in the middle. So after 1, 2, 3, I'll stop. And then I continue with 4, 5, 6. Okay, so there we go. 1, 2, 3, stop. So see where we are. We're at the middle of the bow. If you reached at the middle of the bow, then it means that you calculated very well and your bow distribution is going nicely. Because like this, you have space. Look how much space you have left for 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. And like this backwards. 1, 2, 3, stop. 4, 5, 6. Then afterwards, when you did this by part, you can try to connect. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because when you have a good bow distribution, also the connections between the down and the up bow is going to be much nicer, much more beautiful. You're going to make beautiful lines with it. What happens if you don't have a good bow distribution? This happens. So let's do it first by part and then let's connect it. So 1, 2, 3. Look how much space we have left. 4, 5, 6. And then we know that we don't have so much space, so we start to recompensate with force, with tension, and then we get this that dirty scratchy sound. So that's why important to keep that in mind. Equal bow distribution. So a good balance is very important here for this guy over here. Now let's add the notes from the exercise. Let's do it only with the first measure. So here we have this 1, 2, 3. See, 3 notes. Where am I now? Near the middle of the bow. Now we continue. One more time. Stop. And now let's start to connect. Because again, if we don't have a good bow distribution, this will happen. Anyway, I don't want to hurt your ears. So that's why equal bow distribution is very important. It might happen that it will take a little bit of time to get used to it, to get used to the motion and so on. Of course, in the beginning, always it gets a little bit confusing. But if you do it more and more often, it will become natural and it will become automatically. So good, that's the only thing that I have to say for the right hand. But this is very important if you want to play this exercise or this study in a melodical way, which I highly recommend to do that. So now let's see what we have for the left hand. So this guy over here. In general, this etude here, it's not the hardest thing to play, especially for the left hand. But let's say that if you're new here, then I suggest you to watch all my other Feuillard videos before you come to this one over here. Because by watching number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and you're applying all the orientations that I'm giving to you, you will strengthen up your hand and everything is gonna go smoother and smoother. So when you arrive to this number 39, things are gonna be so much easier for you. So I recommend watch the other videos. But alright, I know that some of you can't wait and don't want to do all of them, which is actually bad because you should. But let's dive right into this exercise because that's why you are here. So I will give you a couple of suggestions what you need to pay attention. First of all, I personally find the 6th position a little bit annoying, especially when we have bigger distances, stretchings and so on. So let's do the first step over here. Let's take the score and see where we might have difficulties. By the way, if you don't have the score, there is a PDF in the link in the video description below, so you can open it, download it, print it out, and practice right away together with me. Good, let's say you have now the score or you already have the score. Let's play together and let's find the first annoying passage here. So there already we have number 1. So that's shifting over here. That's number one, okay? But okay, shiftings we're gonna talk in just a bit. Let's continue. That could be annoying, that position here. So there we had number 2. There we have number 3. So okay, I just showed you the first 2-3 measures where we have some difficulties. So what I like to do is when I play anything, I play slowly or okay, I played more or less in tempo. And I analyze where we have these potential dangers and I mark it on the score. So okay, I did this just for a couple of measures. The rest is on you. So you do the rest of the exercise that way. So you play and then you observe where are the potential dangers and you mark it. And then you practice them separately. And why to practice this separately? Because a common mistake that people do, so students, they play the passage over and over again. So when they face a difficult passage, they don't practice it. So they don't practice the place where it hurts most. They play over and over again. Sometimes they go back to the beginning. So please avoid that kind of practicing. Practice by parts and practice slow. Because by practicing this slowly, you will have more time to observe and analyze things. So let's take a look at how I would practice on this kind of difficult passages. So that's a way that I like to practice a lot. So really you can take the slowest tempo as you want. You can do separately everything. So 1 note per bow. You can do 2 notes per bow, 3 notes per bow. It doesn't matter, but practice slowly and parts by parts. So if you practice the way that I will practice, of course, it needs a little bit of time, definitely, but that's why we have our practice sessions. But by doing this more and more, you're gonna nail this. Good, now that you know how to practice this study, now let's go to the next thing, which is another badass, shiftings. In this study here, we have some annoying shiftings here. Okay, now, but how do we get these shiftings well done and accurate? So when we have these kind of shiftings that we need to go from the 3rd position to the 6th position, I always like to use my index finger as a reference. I slide with my index finger until a certain point, and then on the right timing, I hit the ring finger. So like that. So in the first measure, we have this one. That one. So this is a badass. So I like to go with my index finger to a certain point. So let me show you this a little bit in slow motion. See? So, or either I go to the G sharp over here or to the G natural. I use the G sharp. Because once we arrive to the G sharp with the index finger, and when we hit with the ring finger, it's in position, we don't need to stretch anything. I mean, maybe it's not really musically logically. Musically logically would be going to the G natural. Of course, but in this case, it's nicer to go to the G sharp. So my suggestion is to practice this first step by step. So first step would be, let's find the middle note. So we have this is going to be the end result, right? That kind of shifting. But let's do this step by step. So first step, what you want to do is to find the middle note. Let's say that I want to get the G sharp with my index finger. So like this. So we get these 3 notes, right? Good. Once you are mapping your fingerboard, then you can go a little bit faster. We're going to still play the 3 notes, so including this middle note, the G sharp, but we're going to do that a little bit faster. So like that. So actually rhythmical patterns. Good. If you did it a couple of times, then we can try to go to that G sharp, but we're not going to play that G sharp. We immediately will hit the ring finger. So like that. See? So I'm avoiding the G sharp. I'm going to the G sharp, but I'm not playing it. Because, okay, it's a little bit pointless also if you're gonna play the exercise. Then, okay, it's not logical. So that's why. First step, again. Second step, a little bit faster, with rhythmical patterns. And then third step, you want to go to the G sharp, but you're not playing it. Like that. And like this, you have accurate shiftings. Because what happens often is that people, they slide with the 3rd finger. Of course, that's also a correct way of doing shiftings. But you need to master that, first of all, because listen to this difference. So I'm gonna play the one that we just did. So with the index finger. Good. Now, when we slide, can you hear immediately the difference? And I'm not exaggerating, I'm doing my best. So first of all, we have a glissando, which sounds like a cow meow. And second of all, it's not accurate. So that's why I prefer to do the way that I showed you before. All right, good. Now that we have covered these potential dangerous moments, we still do have one thing to keep in mind. Finger stretchings. Here in this etude, we're gonna face some finger stretchings. Let me show you a couple of moments here in this study where we have these finger stretchings. There. There. Now. Here, here, here. Here again. Here. Maybe not a huge stretch because I just screwed it up. Here. So we have some finger stretch moments here in this etude. As I usually say, left hand anticipation is key, which means be one step ahead and know what your next note will be. And this will definitely help you for these kind of stretchings. So let me show you how I would approach these stretchings. From the beginning. Left hand anticipation, did you see? Or not? Let me show you again. Did you see? So, on the first note, when I play, my first finger is ready to get that stretch. Because if we wait last minute, this will happen. Aye. So my hand is already in position. So that's what I mean, be one step ahead. That's why practice slowly is very important, because like this, you can observe things and analyze things. So one more time. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Okay, shift. Second finger is in position because we have a small stretch. Stretch, and you're in position. Stretch. I'm there already. Stretched. Stretch. Next note will be a stretch, so there I am. So don't wait until last minute when you do the stretchings, because if you wait until last minute, then everything is gonna be all over the place. Well, and that's it for today's lesson. I hope you found it useful, helpful, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. With that, I want to thank you for watching, and we'll see us next time with Studies of the Young Cellist number 40. Happy practicing!